excited to welcome you to Town Committees 101. We came up with the idea for this event because we talked about how much people get out of being involved in volunteering for something. Something you feel like, sometimes things in the world feel like you can't make a difference, and you feel like you don't know what you can do to sort of feel better, and going into, a space with other people who are passionate about something like what you're passionate about can really be a wonderful balm for just feeling better about, us and our town and being together. So we wanted to start thinking about all these town committees that shape the way our town is. And we brought our wonderful town moderator, Elizabeth Dillon, here with us to help us tonight. And we brought the chair of our select board, Ben Zoll, here with us as well. So we have some questions that we've prepared. We're going to start off with a Q&A for these two. And I'm going to pass it over to Camila. She's going to give them some questions. And you're ready? No, I'll take that. Okay. All right. There we go. All right.
All right. Okay.
Hi everybody, I'm Camila, one of the steering committee members of Connect Milton as well. Thank you so much, Liz and Ben, for being here tonight to talk about town committees. Thanks for the introduction, Jess. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll have a few questions, and then we'll have a few people in the audience who are going to talk about additional committees, and then we have a bunch of videos that we recorded about all the rest of the committees in town. If you've ever gone to the town website and looked at the list, there's a huge number of committees, so we have them all documented for you. We have 11, but we consider that a great start. A good start. So I'll just go ahead and start with, and either of you can answer, you can both jump in. So can you tell us a little bit about how town committees support the functioning of the town? So what is their role? What is the goal of that, or how do they contribute to the town?
Well, the really exciting thing, so I'm Liz Dillon, I'm a town moderator. The really exciting thing about living in Milton is that because we are a town and not a city, we have people who volunteer their time, whether they're elected officials or they're committee members, they're appointed. We have a lot of people that volunteer their time very generously and for free, so we don't have to pay people, but also they're really, really knowledgeable, wonderful volunteers. So the moderator appoints people to quite a few different committees. Chief among them is the warrant committee, which I know Tom Caldwell, who's the chair of the warrant committee, will come talk about that. But the warrant committee is like our town's finance committee. They review all of the warrant articles in great, great detail. I used to be a member of the warrant committee. In great, great detail. There are 15 members. I won't steal all of Tom's thunder, but there are 15 members of the warrant committee from across the town, different precincts. And they really delve deeply into all the warrant articles, ask all of the questions that town meeting members might want to know. And their role primarily is financial first and foremost. And then secondarily, with respect to warrant articles that are not financial, to use their knowledge and expertise, special background knowledge that they might have, to kind of dig into questions that people might have in town meeting. And so that's the warrant committee. The moderator also appoints people to the audit committee who review our annual audit, appoints people to the school building committee, the fire station building committee, the IT committee, and I'll think of the other ones as well. Okay.
Yeah.
There are more.
There are more. There are many, many more. And we appoint some folks to that as well. The school building committee, we have some appointees too. At the risk, I don't want to read through the list of all of the committees that the select board is involved with, because we would be here for quite some time, and you'll see some of the videos later. But I think probably the thing that I would say first and foremost is, if you're interested in a committee and you don't know what committee you'd like to join, but you're just feeling like you want to get engaged, call up the town administrator, or call up somebody on the select board, call anybody, I think, in representative government. We're all very excited to try to find places for people who want to dedicate some time to the town to make it a better place. We've got committees that focus on things from bicycles to airplane noise to youth in the woods to affordable housing, really everything in between, animal shelter. there's a committee for almost everything. So if you're interested and you're not sure, the town website page has a nice link with a listing of some of the committees. I can guarantee you that there's probably a vacancy on almost every one of those committees. And if there's not a vacancy on the committee that you want to be part of right now, it's not, you know, you can put your name in the hat for next year, and there might be another committee that would provide you with some good experience. The second thing I want to say is, and Liz really touched on this very well, is that our best and strongest committees are the ones that are really kind of take advantage of the wonderful diversity of talent and people that we have in this town. So I'm thinking of the Affordable Housing Trust, for example. We have some young guys in their 20s who are just really interested in local government and kind of getting started on the committees. We have people who've been on the Affordable Housing Trust for years and have expertise in construction of affordable housing or architecture and everything in between. I was neither young nor experienced in affordable housing when I was appointed to it as a select board rep. But it's the nice thing about those sorts of committees is that everybody knows that the other person is there to try to help Milton, address something. I don't want to say solve something, because sometimes it's not a problem, it's something we just want to make a little better, we want to refine. But if you're worried that you wouldn't be accepted to join a committee because you don't have the right experience or you don't have the right CV, I can tell you that we will find a place for you. It may not be the committee of your choice at first, but we will certainly find a place for you. And really, the relationships that you forge on these committees are super important, because you get to know people that you otherwise wouldn't know. And our town really needs those kinds of opportunities and avenues for folks to be able to talk in, really, nice, positive ways about issues and try to work together to find ways forward on them. I don't know if that's good enough.
No, that's very helpful. So it sounds like some of the committees are appointed, other ones you can volunteer for, and the best way, it sounds like, is reaching out to someone in town. The town administrator, Nick Milano, is a great place to start.
Yeah, I would say that volunteering and being appointed is kind of the same thing. Like,
Yep.
you kind of have to volunteer to get appointed. Sometimes there's a limited number of seats on a committee, so you may not be able to join straight away. But
Excellent.
that would be the distinction.
And are there any requirements, or is there anything that you have to serve?
No, I think that for me in making, and again, I'm the new moderator, so as I'm making appointments now, what I really want to see is enthusiasm and ability to really participate, an understanding of what the committee is and what it should be, and really thinking about talent first. So with the warrant committee, there is no requirement that you have any specific background, but certainly some kind of financial background, legal background with municipal government, something like that can add to the committee. But we're really looking for people who can come, be enthusiastic, attend the meetings. Some of the committees meet much more frequently than others. So of course, you can speak to Mr. Milano, the town administrator, depending on how much time that you have to give. Some of them are lower commitments than others. But certainly I think that as far as the committees I appoint, there's no specific requirement, but we're looking for people who are really enthusiastic about the committee that they're joining. And then of course, if you do have specific experience, especially with the warrant committee, that's really beneficial, but there's no specific requirement.
I would just add, I think there are some committees like the Youth Task Force, for example, that specifically want to have a sophomore and a junior, I think it's a freshman, a sophomore, and a junior representative from the high school, or 9th, 10th. So sometimes there are slots that are specifically dedicated for someone who fits a particular profile. But I use that example because, hey, if you're a freshman in high school and you're interested in local government, there's no better way than to sit on the Youth Task Force Committee, which is really looking at how do we create better social environments for teenagers in town so that they don't go to the woods or end up in trouble in other ways.
Yeah. And where's the best place to find information about the different committees? On our town website? And are vacancies posted there? do they advertise for new members if people are interested?
Yes, some of the committees have more robust web presences than others, but they're all listed on the town website. And you can, if you go to the boards and committees page, there's some that have their own websites, but the rest of them are all listed alphabetically. And I think if you're interested, the easiest way to find out is just to email the town administrator and say, are there any openings on X committee? Can I join?
Excellent.
I'll add one thing. So for each committee, if you go to the Town of Milton website, there's at the top, it says boards and committees. It's one of the tabs in the top right. If you click on boards and committees, you can go ahead and it will have all of them listed. If you see a specific committee, oh yeah. Good. Okay, see, I was right. Boards and committees up at the top. So if you click on boards and committees, you'll see it will take you to listing all of the different committees. Where it says volunteer for boards and committees, you can see it says access the town's boards and committees volunteer form. So it has all the different committees listed on the page before where it says all the boards and committees. If you click on each one, it says who appoints them. If it's appointed by the moderator, feel free to reach out to me. My email address is on the website. If it's appointed by the select board, I'm speaking for you, but you can reach out to Mr. Zoll or again, the town administrator as well. The vacancies are posted, but you'll get the most up-to-date information, obviously, by asking one of us. But they do update it pretty frequently. So as you can see, most of the things are appointed by the select board, but there are some that are appointed by the moderator as well. So people can feel free to reach out directly.
That's great. I'm just scrolling through the applications.
And you'll note too on the app, if you open the application and you can't see it at home, there is a thing that says if you can check multiple committees if you're interested in learning about more than one. And if you're not sure, it gives Mr. Milano's email address or town administrator.
Excellent. Great, that's an excellent overview. I don't know if there's anything else that you wanted to add that I didn't ask about that would be important for people to know.
Well, I would say again that some of the committees really don't meet that frequently and some of them meet a lot. So the warrant committee, especially as we get closer to, and thank you to the warrant committee and to Chair Caldwell, but as we get closer to town meeting, they certainly do meet a lot. But there are other committees that meet, once a month, once every few months, once a quarter. And so again, I really want to encourage people to reach out to Nick Milano, to reach out to me, to reach out to Mr. Zoll, and just have that conversation. I want to get involved. I'm not ready maybe to run for townwide office, or maybe I'm already a town meeting member, I want to get more involved, or maybe I'm new here, I want to just see what's available to me. Reach out and we can help kind of connect you.
Yeah. And I would just add too that some of the committees that don't meet as often, they may not meet as often just because their membership isn't as fired up, and they may have potentially the opportunities to do more work. And so I would say if you're really interested in something but you see it only meets 2 or 3 times a year, that shouldn't dissuade you from trying to join and see if there's a way to make that committee more active. The only requirement, by the way, Milton address, you gotta live in Milton. That's the only. I wanted to say that.
Do you have to be a registered voter?
Depends on the committee. Yeah.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now we're going to, I know there's several people in the audience who have come to talk about specific committees. And we have Tom Caldwell here from the warrant committee. I don't know if you'd like to start first and just give us a few minutes about what your committee does, how I can move to you can, yeah, that would be great. What your committee does, what's the time commitment, and what people should sort of expect from participating on your group.
Good evening, everybody. I don't think I need to join into this.
You think it helps with the recording? Yeah.
Okay, let's get started. Good evening, everybody. As you've heard, my name is Tom Caldwell. I'm the current chair of the warrant committee for this year. It's my 3rd year on the warrant committee. And just to kind of maybe expand just slightly on what my former colleague on the warrant committee, Elizabeth Dillon, had. We are a 15-person committee of registered voters in the town. We are appointed, we are not elected, but we have a pretty big job. And really kind of how we operate is the various committees that Select Board members all and Moderator Dillon mentioned. They get together. Frequently it's the Select Board, the Planning Board, perhaps the School Committee. And they get together and they formulate a certain article. Perhaps it's financial in nature. It could be anything that the school needs. The Planning Board is looking to put forward zoning. The Select Board has maybe a new initiative for the town-wide. And what we do is we take that article and as a group, we sit down, usually in the blue room at Town Hall, and we discuss the article at night. And like Moderator Dillon indicated, we have a very diverse board of people that not every precinct, but we've almost represented every precinct. And again, they bring their life experience, their thoughts, their concerns as residents of the town, and they opine on the articles. And at a certain point, and a lot of the times we have communities come down and speak to us, citizens, experts, and then we discuss it. And sometimes that's an hour, sometimes that's over the course of several days, but at one point we vote, and we are an advisory committee. We don't have any real, should we say, power in terms of the structure of government, but we advise town meeting. So essentially what we say is, here's 15 unelected members of the town who really like Milton. And what we've done is we've sat down for days or hours, sometimes only a few minutes, depending on the issue, and we discuss it at night. This is what we think town meeting you should talk about, and this is how we think maybe you should vote on this article. Again, I simply advise them. We spend a lot of time on each individual article. And tonight I brought, for everybody, I'm sure you all know this is our town warrant. This is our warrant for the meeting coming up on June 16th. And us, with the town administrator and the finance director of the town, we prepare this warrant. And we comment. So we give usually sometimes a lengthy comment on the things we discuss, the things we think that the town should be concerned about, and then how we think the town should vote. Sometimes the town votes with us, sometimes the town votes against our recommendation, which is fine. But the most important thing for the warrant committee is to discuss the matters, get the information to the surface, and share it with not only town meeting, but the town as a whole. And that allows our town meeting to make the best educated decision as representatives for the individual precincts and instill sound government and continue with good policy as we have for many decades here in the town. Milton's a lovely place. The warrant committee is a very unique structure across Massachusetts. There aren't too many municipalities that have a warrant committee. But as Moderator Dillon indicated, not only do we discuss the matters contained in the warrant, the individual articles, but essentially in terms of our bylaw, all the matters of interest to the town, including special town meetings. So that's essentially what the warrant committee does. We are appointed to 1 year. However, traditionally, members of the warrant committee sit for 3. And the reason for that is, and it's that if you want to, you don't need to, but really that, it's like your first year you kind of get involved, you understand how the process works, how the Milton town government works. Second year you kind of have a little more confidence, maybe you're more involved, more vocal, you're doing more research, maybe you're writing comics, you're assisting in writing more. By your third year, I think you have kind of everything in your pocket that you need. As the chair this year, I've usually appointed those third-year members to some of our committees because they have that expertise and they know how the town government works. So that's a little bit about the warrant committee, just expanding on what Moderator Dillon had to add. I would like to say, just for those interested in the warrant committee, and again, Moderator Dillon said, we do meet a lot. And we really are a reactive body. So we kind of sit pat and we wait for the articles to come to us. So we don't create anything. There's no initiative that we can put forward. We wait for the various boards to bring to us. And then at that time, that's when the work really begins. Sometimes it's really fast, last minute. Sometimes we have a lot of time. It depends. In the past couple of years, the town has tackled some very, very important issues, things we never addressed before in the town. And that takes time because we have a great group of volunteers throughout the town who have jobs during the day, some have families, and put really a lot of time in the evening to help the town. But as Moderator Dillon says, we do meet a lot. I think this year we're on our 3rd meeting coming up. And this is not to scare people, it is great, but I wanna say perhaps maybe well over 100 hours of meetings for the warrant committee.
Per year.
Per year. This year was a little unique, just because some of the weight of some of the subject matter that we had to address for the town meeting, but by and large, I'd say that's a good number. And it does really ramp up as we approach the town meetings. I don't have a meeting tonight, but we'll probably have one before town meeting on Monday. So that's really what the warrant committee is. We, like I said, we usually meet up in the blue room. We post 2 days in advance. We do not have public comment at our meeting. We are essentially the citizens, the unelected citizens. So we're the ones who kind of, so we don't have like the select board, we don't have that public speak. However, if you are an elected official or you are a sponsor of the article, you are always welcomed. And frequently, if you're involved in that, that's usually get a phone call or an email from me asking you to come on down. And it's very helpful, obviously, in allowing us to kind of formulate our recommendation for town meeting. So that's really all I have about that.
Do you have a specific question for?
Yes, I do have a question. Who actually writes the warrants?
The warrant, the physical warrant itself,
Yes, who approves or reviews the grammar and spelling and the content?
well, we as the warrant committee, we will self-edit, we'll try to regulate some of that. The articles come to us as written.
Okay.
There are times when we will meet with boards and committees and we will make suggestions on edits or some Scrivener errors or things of that nature.
Okay.
So in terms of the editing and review, that goes again to the town administrator and the staff at town hall.
To your point, you advise, you do not generate.
Correct.
Got it.
Do you want me to add in on?
Oh, please,
the board?
yeah.
So I guess I need the microphone for the folks at home. Just on stand for this
I
thing.
can't move it around, so.
So the warrant, there's a couple of different bodies that have the right to put things into the warrant. So select board does most of the warrant articles. There are citizens petitions which can be submitted to the warrant. That's done by a group of citizens, depending on whether it's a regular town meeting or a special town meeting. There are different requirements for the number of signatures that are required to put a citizens petition forward. But the citizens usually write the warrant, write the articles that they put together. Sometimes they will get advice from, town officials, and, they'll just say, you might want to phrase things like this so that it's, that it fits the style. But ultimately, the select board will sign off on all of the articles that go into the warrant. And then once we've signed off on the articles to go to the warrant, that's when Tom and his group work their magic. Is that helpful?
Thank you.
You're right.
I appreciate the extra information.
Thank you so much.
Oh, no, I just kind of go like, if I can, just off of just to kind of move off what the select board members all said, we've seen an increase in citizens petitions recently in the past couple of years, which I think are great. It shows obviously involvement of the people in town, who feel very strongly about whatever issue they're bringing forward. Sometimes it can be a neighborhood issue, something going on in the neighborhood. Maybe the trash barrels have been put out too soon, or there might be some animal control issue in the neighborhood. We've seen petitions like that, and then we've seen also some more complex ones, as Mr. Zoll indicated, that they're usually done by the assistance of another official in town, kind of helping them getting it forward. So, but we have seen an increase in citizens petitions, and I think it's a great thing. And the working is always very happy to speak to those citizens who brought those petitions forward to get a greater and better understanding of what our unelected people in the town are talking about. Any other questions for the warrant committee? Nothing?
We'll say.
Thank you.
I do have one quick question. So, there was a special meeting, was it in February, I believe?
Yes, there was.
Did that run over 2 nights or just 1 night? Doesn't matter.
It was a 2-night meeting.
I went for the first night and as a newcomer, and I was not used to this form of government, which is really fascinating. But I remember there was a question that came up, and I wondered if it was a petition initiated initiated by a petition, but it had to do with serving alcohol at public property. And
Yes.
did that come through petition?
No, it did not. That came from our select board.
Okay.
That was a select board.
I was just curious. It was fascinating to observe all of it, you know.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it's interesting, like I said, to have the opportunity to speak to the people who are bringing it forward. And, because I think it allows us as the warrant committee, we all have our experiences in the town, but the great thing about the warrant committee is we touch so many areas of town that you never go to. You talk to so many people, and you really get a good vibe and feeling for the direction of the town, where people want to see it go. So I find my time in the warrant committee, it's a lot of time, but it's very rewarding. I really enjoy it. So,
Excellent, thank you so much. We have a few more people. Lizzie, would you like to come and speak? Lizzie Carroll? Just
Thank
a few minutes on the time commitment, what your committee does, what people should expect.
Yes, hi everybody. Thank you for having this event. My name is Lizzie Carroll. I do serve on the school committee and I'm a town meeting member, but I'm here tonight to share information about the Capital Improvement Planning Committee, also known as CIPC. I have been able to serve on this committee for the past couple of years and I've really enjoyed that. What the CIPC does is we review all of the capital projects for the town of Milton on an annual basis that we then put forward as recommendations to town meeting at the May annual town meeting for that budget to be reviewed and approved. Capital projects are all the assets that we have in town, which are long-term resources, so that will include our buildings, our infrastructure, like our roads, equipment that we own, fire trucks and so on, the land of the town, as well as intangible assets like software systems and so on. In addition to annually putting forward the recommendations for that next year's capital budget request, the CIPC also develops a 5-year capital improvement plan on an ongoing basis with the goal of doing a good job maintaining the investments that we are making as a town into our capital assets. The CIPC every year is appointed by the select board. It includes representatives of the select board, the school committee, which is how I have served on CIPC, the planning board, the library trustees. It also includes the town's finance director, as well as the director of consolidated facilities. And then there are also 2 seats on CIPC for members of the community at large. Every year, we are all appointed to a 1-year term by the select board. The term starts on August 15th. In terms of how frequently and how we meet, CIPC typically has most of our meetings during budget development season and leading up to town meeting. So most often, we'll get up and running sort of late November into December. We will then meet through March, usually into April, in the lead up to the May annual town meeting. And during that budget season, we probably are meeting about every other week. For the past couple of years, we've been meeting on Zoom at 7 a.m. on a weekday. So like all of these committee meetings, these are open meetings, and they have been fully remote. And I think that's about it. Does anyone have any questions about the Capital Improvement Planning Committee? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lizzie. I see we have Kathleen Conlon in the audience. Did you want to come up and speak? Sure. Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You stand very much. Okay. I'm Katie Conlon. I was asked to speak regarding the Airplane Noise Advisory Committee that I'm currently serving on. We have up to 5 members. We currently have 4, so we do have a vacancy. We meet several times a year. We do not meet at 7 a.m. Lizzie, unlike your committee, we meet in the evenings, usually around 7 o'clock, sometimes 6 o'clock, usually in the Cronin Room or at one of the available conference rooms at Town Hall. So we're an advisory committee to the select board. They appoint us and we assist them by providing advice and by helping with strategizing or any initiatives relating to reducing the impacts of air traffic over the town, which I think probably everybody here in the room knows has been a burden over the town. At least going back over the last dozen years, the current situation is created by the FAA's decision nationwide to concentrate the flight paths in general terms. So if you look at the town website, if you go to the boards and committees page that was shown earlier, and you'll see our page, there's a lot of letters, a lot of information, meeting minutes, data, PowerPoint presentations that the committee has been involved in over the last dozen or so years. And there's a lot of information on the website, so that's a very good resource. In addition to working with the select board, we also work a little bit with the town administrator, the assistant town administrator, and also the town's representative to the Massport Community Advisory Committee, which is also currently vacant. So if there is an interest in this issue, there is a vacancy on the committee as well as on that position that serves on a different committee. Regionally, it's a regional committee comprised of members of certain communities that are impacted by air traffic. So if anyone is interested, I would suggest reaching out to the select board's office and contacting them, filling out the volunteer form and submitting it, and just indicating that you're interested in this committee. And as I said, there are 2 vacancies, so I think there would be an interest in trying to fill those as soon as possible, and interested residents should consider it. Thank you.
So is there anyone else who would like to present? I know we've got videos. Come on.
You got my video too?
Yeah, we'll do both, right?
Here.
Right here, first, next, in the flesh.
Hi, John Zikwitz, here for the Sign Review Committee. And pretty obvious what we do here in town, we review signs. We're a five-member committee appointed by the select board. We meet the second Tuesday of every month at 6:30 in the evening. We meet online, so it's easy if anyone has an interest in a sign that's coming up. You know, it's posted ahead of time so you can see what signs we're reviewing. If anybody wants to join in and offer their opinion, we're always willing to listen. So what typically happens is someone fills out an application, submits it to the building commissioner. He reviews it for the size, because there's a mathematical equation based on the width of the storefront and some other things, and that tells you how big your sign can be. He then sends it to us and we review the design of it, we review the color, material, appearance, how it fits on the storefront, what information it has, and we review all that. Typically, the person that comes to us is the person that's designed the sign for the business. Sometimes the business owner comes as well. And then sometimes we accept it if everything looks good. Sometimes we offer suggestions, because sometimes even though you may be allowed to have a certain size sign, it doesn't look good on the storefront. So we may ask them to reduce the size. We may ask them to change the font of the lettering, or because we try to create a synergy between all the storefronts. So Milton Village may have a different look from East Milton. We try to kind of keep it consistent in all the business areas, so there's a kind of an energy in each business area. And because a well-designed sign will bring customers in, and it's nice to support all our businesses and create a vibrant business community here in town, so you have to go someplace else to do your shopping or whatever you're looking for. So that's what we do. I don't know if there's any questions, but okay.
Thank you. What would you say?
Well, In addition to being the moderator, I'm also appointed to a committee, so I can talk about that. So I am a member of the Milton Cultural Council, which is an amazing committee. We have 5 members, I believe, Mr. Zoll can tell me, but I believe we can have up to 15, so there's, yes, he nodded. So there's definitely a lot of vacancies. It does not meet that frequently. Essentially what we do is, it's required by statute, each town in Massachusetts has to have a cultural council. We get money from Massachusetts, so it's not our money from Milton. We get money from Massachusetts to spend on arts and cultural projects in town. So if anybody saw the beautiful, beautiful mural at Tucker, that was something that was partially paid by a grant from the Milton Cultural Council, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing that the children had a lot of involvement with, the artists, and it's very exciting. So we have projects at the Council on Aging, we have a lot of projects at the library, at the various schools, and anybody can submit a grant proposal. The members review all the grant proposals, we get assigned to separate ones, and then we all talk about them together. We decide how much money that we're gonna afford to each different grant, and it's a really wonderful process. It's free money to Milton, so we might as well use it. And again, we don't meet that frequently, so I would encourage anyone that's interested to definitely reach out to Mr. Milano and Mr. Zoll and see about getting appointed to that. No.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak briefly about community?
I have some videos we can show. I also have, I have one that somebody, so I'm gonna read this one from, well, the Youth Task Force sent along a script. So I have a script from the Youth Task Force that I'm gonna read because it is a committee that is accepting new members and they wanted me to read this tonight. So it says, this is from, I'm Zadie Rose, well, I'm not, but Zadie Rose wrote this. And she's the secretary of the Milton Youth Task Force, which was reinstated in 2023 after a hiatus during COVID. The charge to the Milton Youth Task Force is to explore expanded opportunities and safe places for teenage students aged 11 to 18 to socialize and be productive within the Milton community, including but not limited to out-of-school time programming, and to make progress reports and recommendations to the Milton Select Board annually. Its membership is supposed to include 3 teenage Milton residents, 3 parents and guardians of Milton teenage residents, 2 members with professional experience in youth programming, a member of the Board of Park Commissioners, a member of the Select Board, and a member of the Milton Coalition, which is another town organization focused on teen substance abuse prevention. In their first year, the Youth Task Force spent some time gathering information about when and where teens spend time. They met with the Milton Coalition, the police chief, Cunningham Park Foundation director. They hosted a community forum in August of 2023, and they researched other towns' teen centers. In their second year, they studied potential locations for a future intergenerational or teen-focused community space. They developed a needs assessment survey that they plan to administer to high school students at the beginning of the school year. And in conclusion, they say that the Youth Task Force is in need of creative and hardworking teens and adults who want to help us better meet the needs of local youth. Join us for the fiscal year 2026 by submitting an application to the town hall today. Should we show some videos?
Yeah, so we have many videos that Jess has been compiling on our website. So this is our website if you haven't seen it before. And those of you who mentioned about being new and trying to figure out town government, we have resources on there as well. So check it out for sure. But these are all the videos from members of committees who couldn't be here tonight. Do you want to start?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just explain. We would love for this to become a repository of every single committee. So if you are on a committee and you do not yet have your video up here, send it to us and we will add it so that we can have one place where all these videos, every town committee, we hope eventually will have a video here about their. So it's supposed to be about a minute long. So we'll click on a few of these. People can take their time and watch them in their own. I feel like we could watch all of them, but we could just watch a few, just to show you what you can find, right?
Yeah, let's just.
All right, so maybe do this one.
I know they're actively recruiting new members.
That includes residents and businesses. Hi, I'm Alex Hasha, and I serve on Milton's Climate Action Planning Committee. Our committee helps the town figure out how to cut greenhouse gas emissions and get ready for the impacts of climate change. That includes residents and businesses, not just town hall. Over the past 2 years, we've put together a climate action plan. It's a roadmap for Milton to dramatically reduce emissions and become more resilient. Now we're shifting gears to focus on public engagement, building support, strengthening our partnerships, and getting feedback as we work towards buy-in from the select board, town meeting, and the broader community. The time commitment is pretty manageable. We meet once a month for about an hour and a half. Committee terms run a year from July to June, so if you're interested, now is a great time to get involved. And between meetings, members team up around key topics like building, transportation, and land conservation. So there's room to dive in where your interests and time allow. Serving on this committee is a chance to do something real and local about a global crisis. A lot of people feel stuck, like the problem's too big and the solutions are too painful. But that's not really true. And here you'll help your neighbors and your town take practical steps that truly make a difference. So you don't have to be an expert. We need a lot of different skills and perspectives to make progress. So please reach out if you're interested. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want us to do, Arthur, should we do yours?
Whatever your pleasure.
Let's do it. Arthur's here, but he also made us a video, so we'll find it. It is about the Conservation Commission.
Project Script. Hello, my name is Arthur Doyle and I serve as a member of the Milton Conservation Commission. The 7-member commission, chaired by Attorney John Cannon, is responsible for the preservation of open land and the protection of wetlands through the provisions of the state and federal wetlands protection statutes and local bylaws and regulations. The commission's members are appointed by the select board for a period of 3 years. Information on the establishment, powers, and duties of the Massachusetts Conservation Commissions are found under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 8C. The Commission meets on the second Tuesday of the month at 7:30 p.m. and Saturday morning half-day field site reviews are also conducted on a monthly basis beginning at 8:30 a.m. Members' backgrounds would include areas such as biological and related sciences, environmental experience, law, engineering, construction, and hydrology. The Commission is ably supported administratively by Philip Driscoll in the Department of Public Works and by Steve Ivas, a licensed wetland scientist who serves as Milton's conservation agent. The Conservation Commission assists Milton residents with projects ranging from new home construction or additions, landscaping and tree work, and other activities that may fall within its jurisdictional areas under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Milton Conservation Bylaws. Residents who are aware of their jurisdictional proximity file a notice of intent with the Commission for its review and discussion in a public meeting. If there is a question about whether a proposed activity is jurisdictional, the applicant would file a request for determination of applicability, also heard in public meeting. In all instances, the Conservation Commission works collaboratively, assisting applicants in the process of making determinations with all parties while preserving Milton's wetlands and natural resources. The Commission's meeting schedule, agenda, minutes, membership, and additional information can be found on the town's website. Thank you.
Great. So under each one of these committees, we've got a link to the page on the town website where you can get all the rest of the information that you're looking for. Can we answer any other questions from anybody else who's here? We're really grateful. Oh yes, Arthur.
Just a question for you. In addition to joining others in complimenting you on this historic work, and that is, will you also have a frame up front introducing the purpose of the work that you've
what Connect Milton's been doing?
Yeah.
Yes, this is actually just our videos page. We have our About page on our website explains our mission statement, that we are a group of Milton residents who created this group to foster Milton community connection centered around diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, and civic engagement, and we exist to connect Milton residents to each other, to civic engagement opportunities, and to community resources. So we've got our About page, and I will take a moment to explain our FAQs too, because it's really kind of like this beautiful, amazing, rich part of our website. And if you just click on FAQs there on our website in that top part, we have so many questions on this page that with wonderful answers, like, where can I hear outdoor music in Milton? The Milton Musical Festival happens in June. And then every answer to every question is linked to the page that you can get more information. So we think of ourselves as kind of a hub of information all via these FAQs. So if you have a question about anything going on in Milton, it's a great place to start.
Thank you. Nicely done.
You might
do that on a clip.
I know, thanks, perfect. Thanks, guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for everybody who came and talked about their committees. We're excited to get that information out there. I know Jess has already been pushing it out on social media, so hopefully the committees that are looking for new people get some new applicants, and we'll continue to keep sharing that information. And like Jess said, definitely look at our website. We have resources about town government, not just committees, but finances and town meetings, so lots of different resources that are out there. So thank you so much.